Welcome back, She Talk watchers. It has been a long week. Devil tried to stop me so many times, but we here. We made it. As y'all know, I am back with another great episode. Last week I had a conversation with Ashley Shaw. We talked about depression in Black women. This week I got my good friend CJ with me. We did an
Yes,
episode on audio on the last podcast season about depression.
previous.
So I just had the idea of just bringing you back so that we can, piggyback off of that conversation as well
Right,
as just hone in on depression in Black men itself.
right.
So if you haven't, go back to the last episode and watch that one with Ashley Shaw. All you got to do is go on YouTube, type in She Talk Podcast. It'll be the first thing that you see. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all of that. So we're going to jump right back
Good, good, good.
into it. So, CJ, what's up?
Not much, man. Just been chilling,
Chilling.
chilling, working, re, rehabbing.
I
Just
have
trying to
seen
get back
it.
in.
How is it?
Uh, it's been a long process, man. It's still, I mean, we still going. It's a 8 to 12 months rehab process, so recovering process. So it's tough. It's tough. It should just been. I wouldn't want to have this happen to my worst enemy. To be honest with you, it's tough. I mean, the first couple months, I'm really just starting to get up and get out of the house. You know what I mean? A little bit. The last probably like week and a half, well, 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been moving around a little bit. Able to walk without the excruciating pain. So, I mean, still a little pain there, but that's just that comes with just trying to build the muscle back up and get the knee um, back to just being stable. You know what I mean? So, but it's a process though. It's been tough.
Well, I'm just sending positive vibes, positive energy,
I appreciate that,
speedy recovery so that you can get back to 100 because I already know how you like to get around and move and
man.
work out and be in everything. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, so it'll get back to that. We're gonna just jump into like we talked about last week with Ashley, just depression, what it is, just some symptoms. I know symptoms of depression can be the same in everybody. However, men might look at it in a different way. You know,
Well, I mean, when you look at it, like it can manifest itself in different ways, right? So, like for some men, it may be anger. Some men, it may be withdrawal, kind of trying to be to yourself. I mean, for me, like even doing this surgery thing, I went through a little state because my whole routine changes. You know
right?
what I'm saying? So it's like you can't move around a lot, and then you got to rely on other people, which I'm not a big fan of. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to do that. So I did little things to just kind of keep my spirits up, but I was a little withdrawn, just being stuck in the house, being stuck on the couch. You know what I mean? And then you already was stuck in the house with the pandemic,
Right,
and
quarantine.
then right, and on top of that, and then as soon as everybody started getting back outside again, then that happened. So I mean, it manifests itself in many ways. People deal with it differently. But with men, it's usually the anger, right? The anger is usually what they exhibit, or if they have wives or anything like that, they become withdrawn. Sometimes even like when it comes to just like sex, they're looking for just trying to have sex with any and everybody that they can, and that sometimes is masked as depression because you're dealing with uh, sometimes just coming out of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I dealt with. Like it's just like, oh shit, I gotta try to find my way in all these different type of women, and you just like, man, this shit is stupid. Why am I doing that? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it manifests itself in many different forms. You just gotta know what you're dealing with, understand what you're dealing with, and then addressing the issue. That's the biggest issue right there. For most men, men don't know what they're dealing with, so they can't address the issue.
So, what is some advice for men to even sit down and just have an assessment on what's going on with themselves? to determine if they depressed?
Well, I mean, I would say just understanding what's going on. You know what I mean? Like when it hit, you know when you not yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like things start to change. If you just getting angry all the time, or you start to find yourself just kind of backing away or being withdrawn from your friends, and especially if you're dealing with a significant other, that's a big problem as well. So you want to just kind of, you want to sit down and look at it like, okay, damn, pay attention too. Like pay attention to the people that's around you because they'll give you signs too. Like, one of my homies that I play Call of Duty with, he was like his wife and his kids was like, yo, you got a problem, you know what I mean? So he had to kind of step back, like look at it like, damn, okay, I am doing this is abnormal, you know what I mean? So, sometimes you just gotta check yourself, but if not, you just gotta pay attention to the people that's around you because they're gonna give you everything that you need to know
Yeah,
all the time.
you're right about that because they'll tell you, like, you're not talking like you used to, or you're not responding like
Hmm.
you usually do, or, it's just all off.
Yeah.
So,
And then like when you create like most people, the depression set in when you have a conflict within your brain,
mhm.
right? So and with me just doing therapy with shit, I done did therapy with everybody with this little stint of jobs I done had. But um like once you create the conflict in your brain, whether you homosexual or you got a sex addiction or whatever the issue may be, like you create that conflict in your brain and you don't know what's acceptable by society, and you had that little turmoil in between yourself. um that's what causes the depression most times. Like when you see people who are homosexual, they have these issues where it's like, damn, I'm scared to come out because they're afraid to be, or they're afraid of the backlash that comes from that, right? So it's like they gotta hide and not be themselves all the time, right? So when I'm doing therapy with people, I'm telling like that's the first thing I tell people at the top. Like if you don't become comfortable with who you are outside of just when you at home, then you're gonna have big problems. Right? You're gonna be doing abnormal stuff
Mhm.
that you can't deal with. And then it becomes that tug and pull in your brain. And then that's when the depression sets in. Then that's when you see a lot of suicides and stuff that people just normally don't do. You know what I mean? So I just like I don't care what people do in their everyday life. If it ain't pertaining to me, it ain't my business. But you know, just be who you are. If you're comfortable with yourself, if people don't like you, it's whatever. It is what it is. But just put who you are out there and allow it to. If the people that don't like you don't want to be around you, they'll remove themselves. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? So, but that's like the biggest thing that I noticed when like with depression, like people have that conflict within their brain, like should I be gay or should I come out and should I let them know this, or it's just be like, man, just be who you are. Like don't even allow that to just enter your atmosphere, because once it does, you just got a problem. It's gonna be a problem. So.
Right, I agree. So as far as like self care, what does self care look like in men, in like black men specifically?
Ooh, black men specifically. Uh, I would tell, I would say, because black men don't like to get out of their comfort zone.
Right.
They're comfortable with what they are. So playing basketball or working out or doing some type of sport activity is it's kind of like the end all be all for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I try to challenge them to get out of their comfort zone. Go get you a massage, go get you a pedicure, go get you a manicure. You'll understand like, damn, this is dope. You know what I mean? You can kind of sit back and just kind of chill and relax. You know what I mean? Do some yoga. You know what I mean? That was something that like I learned probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Where it's like I went to my partner house one time, and this fool was in the middle of his floor watching YouTube doing yoga with candles lit. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? And he was already a odd individual. You know what I'm saying? But when I seen that, I'm like, damn, why you do that? You know what I mean? And he was just like, shit, bro, I just got to be free. Like, I got to be able to take time to myself. And I'm like, damn, I ain't never thought about doing yoga. So now, once I get back to 100%, I got to get back on doing my yoga and, sitting in front of like things like that. Black men are not, they don't even think about it. It's like, they ain't doing that. That's gay or something. You know what I mean? They say some crazy shit like that, but it's like, bro, just step outside your comfort zone. Do something that you probably wouldn't even think that you would like. And then once you do it, it's like, oh, okay, shit, this is kind of dope. You know what I mean? For me, I play the video game a lot.
Yeah.
I do that, or for right now, reading. Reading can take you out of the world that you in and put you in a whole nother lane. And you're like, damn, this is pretty dope. So that's what I would say, though. That's what I would just push out there for any black man, regardless, just to, step outside your comfort zone and do some stuff that you wouldn't typically do. Because if not, you're going to get caught in that same little cycle of, shit, I just play basketball, I work out. After a while, that shit get boring. You know what I mean? So you just got to step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. So with doing therapy with so many different men, have you run into any like conflicts or resistance when it comes to men just coming in and want to talk, or just even initiating that first conversation to even get a therapist?
Believe it or not, men want to talk.
Okay.
They actually want to be heard. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing you see with like Kevin Samuels and him doing his little thing. Mm-hmm. Like, men actually sit around and have those conversations the stuff that he talk about, right? Mm-hmm. And so when they come in, like, most of them kind of weary sometimes, like, man, I ain't talking about my feelings and shit like that. But me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty dope at what I do. So when you engage in the conversation, they see like, damn, he's sitting on the other side of the table, but he understands what's going on.
Right.
So, and then you get it, like, open it up. Like, I work for Pardons and Paroles right now, right? Bureau of Pardons and Parole. And I do like the case management and the counseling part. This one guy come in probably like a week ago, and he's having baby mama issues. Okay. Like, anytime that he does something crazy, or not even him doing something crazy, the lady is crazy. Like, she's alpha rocker. But anytime that he like calls or try to engage with his kid, which he seems like a pretty genuine guy, she gets mad and calls the parole board and say he did something to her and get him arrested. So he done lost his job and all kind of stuff behind us, right? Wow. So he come in, he's talking to his probation officer, and he just see me. One, I'm in a little country white town, but he's a black guy, right? So he walks in, he see me, and he like automatically like, oh man, it's a connection here, just because you're black, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, you probably want to, try to go to the courts and get you. He's like, man, no, I ain't trying to do that. And this is the crazy thing with black men that I've noticed. They'll take all the heat on them, even though they have an outlet to, try to fight the discrepancies, what's going on. They're going to take all the heat. Like, he was like, nah, I ain't even trying to do all of that. I don't want to involve the courts or police in anything that's going on, even though this is like the third or fourth time that she's had him sent to jail. You know what I mean? He's not even trying to get any get back. He just like, I'm going to take it on. I'm like, nah, bro, that's not what you want to do. This shit got to be fair on your side. You know what I mean? So, but when he see me, it's like, shit, that's a connection. So shit. And then he just started talking. Like, I'm like, damn, like, this dude don't know me. He just met me. And he's just talking about this whole situation. He going from point A, like, I went to jail behind it this time. 6 months later, got out, talking to my little girl, blah, 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 went to jail again. I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, when are you going to stop the cycle? You know what I mean? But they take on so much just to deal with just to deal with black women. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know. I have a zero tolerance policy, but that's what they do, though. That's what we have been accustomed to doing. And then, so I just say, like, depression is a big thing.
Piggybacking off of what you said of just like taking on everything from the black woman, I feel that black men take on, not just black women take on everything in the world, also black men take on everything in the world. They are the
Right.
backbone of, the black household, the black
Right.
community. And it's just ever since the beginning, as time I know, they get the rap of everything. They get punished for everything, black men. And yet y'all still, you know, are strong and hold on this, I still got this um mentality, or we gotta go through this anyway.
Right.
I was watching The Shy, the new season, and
Hmm.
I don't know if do you watch The Shy?
I haven't started watching it yet.
Oh, you need to
I'm
start.
I'm gonna get on it though.
You
Yeah,
need
I'm
to
gonna get on it.
start. Especially while relaxing and chilling
Yeah.
and healing. But
Yeah.
it was one episode. Jake, the little brother, he had ended up getting into an altercation with the police, and of
Hmm.
course, it left all of these mental things that he's dealing with. And he has an older brother. His older brother, he kind of doing a mental check in with him, and he like,
Yeah.
are you good? He like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, because if you're not, that's okay. And when he
Right.
said that, Jake stood there for a little bit and was like, nah, I'm good. We gotta do it. We gotta handle it anyway. We gotta stick with it. We gotta deal with all of this anyway. So it is
Right.
what it is. And so
Right. Right.
that's just the mentality that our men adapts when it's okay to be vulnerable sometimes. It's okay to let your guard
Right.
down and express yourself regarding the emotions that you're feeling, whether it's anger or you just upset about something.
True.
So how how is it that we can make an environment where men feel like it's okay to be vulnerable?
Um, I was just talking about this the other day. First, we got to clear out the men who don't make it okay, right? Because like when I was growing up, I had an uncle who they I got several uncles, but this particular one, um, probably one of my favorite uncles. He used to express so much. You know what I mean? Just sitting down like and just saying what's on his mind and giving it like, yo, I love you, man. Like you and I know he deal with like some mental issues, but he's like, yo, bro, he's always done that. Right. So I kind of try to model myself after him and just being different. Right. But then I have other uncles who's just like, man, shut up, nigga, you don't cry. You know what I mean? So the men above, like these guys that are above me, my generation, they've been taught that. It's like a a learned behavior. You know what I mean? So they've been taught that, and then the dudes before them. It's like, and when I hear stories about my granddaddy, my great granddaddy, you'd be like, what the, who could live in this house? You know what I'm saying? Because he was just a tyrant. It was like, man, shut up. You do what I tell you to do, type shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think now we have a lot more men who are, you know, accepting sitting around talking about problems. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like me and my homies, and then you got a lot more platforms out here who just sit down and they're checking in with each other. Like, yo, bro, you good? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the deal? Because we're accustomed to doing that, right? Like earlier this year, my baby brother was shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And already me understanding and knowing like, yo, that's gonna have a psychological effect on him,
Right.
right? And I tried to tell my mom, and she like, yeah, be all right. I'm like, nah, he's gonna have problems. So he ended up texting me one night like, yo, it was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the hell I was doing up anyway, but he texted me like, hey man, I keep having like these nightmares and dreams. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? He's like, I keep getting shot by different people.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, tell my mama like, yo, he's starting to have dreams about this shit, so he need to go sit and talk to somebody. Man, I can't talk to him like that because he ain't gonna give me too much information. He'll tell me little stuff, but he need to talk to somebody who don't know him. You know what I mean? And she looked into getting him, some counseling and whatnot. But that's something that I was able to recognize. You know what I'm saying? If not asking him questions like, "Yo, you straight? You having dreams?" At first, he wouldn't. He was just like chilling, like, "Yeah, man, I got shot or whatever." But when the dreams start happening, he waking up in the middle of the night, cold sweats and shit. I'm like, all right, that's what it is. You know what I mean? And he know what I do, so it's kind of like, oh, let me reach out to bro and see what's going on. But just say if I didn't have this background or I didn't have this knowledge about that, how do I approach that situation? You know what I mean? How do I tell him like, yo, bro, that's, you know what I mean? I could have been like one of my uncles and just be like, man, niggas get shot every day. Like, you know what I mean? But that ain't the premise of how I'm trying to go about it. So just being a man and being able to allow young men to open up and get that outlet. Like, bro, your mama treating you like her baby daddy is not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about that. Let's expound on that. And that's something when I worked at the Boys and Girls Club that I seen a lot, because you're working in the project homes and then you got kids who you know, the baby daddy is not working out, they not around. And then these dudes don't even know, these young men don't even know how to interact with a grown man. You know what I mean? It's more of you know, it's women-like behavior. You know, they real bitchy and, man, you know, mumbling under their breath and shit. Like, bro, say what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? So I had to teach my little brother that too, like, because he in the house with a whole bunch of women. You know what I mean? I'm not there. My other little brother not there. So he got a lot of bitchy ways sometimes. So I had to address that. Like, bro, say what you got to say. As a man, you got to stand 10 toes down and say what you got to say. So we just need more of that. More men interacting with young men and allowing them to have that space to talk about problems and issues. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest issue right there. Though. That's how we can just do away with that, because we gotta have that space to allow them to say whatever they got to say.
Absolutely. And I just was researching, like, different platforms that's making it okay to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to Charlamagne the Guy, like he the one that's kind of like, been pushing this. And it was another celebrity, NFL player, Brandon Marshall, being,
Yes.
I was reading up on him, having a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. These
Right.
things are real, and prominent people that we see every day on TV are dealing with these things. So if they're
Right.
dealing with it, of course, the person that you walking by in the store or driving by in the car, they dealing with the same thing sometimes.
Just
So
the normal stuff. Yeah.
exactly, it's all normal. We just make it like it's not normal. Like, we don't want to talk
Yeah.
about it, and there's something that we need to do to fix it. So I guess
Right.
that's what this is for me, and us having this conversation. So, because you never know who this
You
video
don't.
will get to, and it might be
Right.
a young black man or an older black man that may get a hold of this and be like, okay, I didn't know that this was going on with me, or I didn't know that I could do these things. We get so stuck in just habits and mentalities that we've
Mm-hmm.
been doing for years. And I feel like this is the time for us and our generation to break all of that. We got
Right.
we got all the answers. We sure enough do. We got the way to fix it. It's just implementing this and staying consistent with it. Cause
Yeah.
I
Because
know.
we got.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, we just got to get them older people out of here. like you just got to get them out of here. Like, and I ain't saying like kill them off or nothing like that, but it's just like their concepts and ideas and how they think are so warped and fucked up. It's just like, man, you can't and that's a big problem when you have like grandparents raising children and shit, because their ideas are so 1950 and 60 and early 70s. You're like, bro, nobody is you ain't nobody behaving like that no more. Yeah. Yeah, so we just got to get rid of those old ideas and thought processes, right? So even like I got 2 episodes coming, back to back, this family ties episodes that I did with my family,
Wow.
right? And
Can't
it
wait.
got a little it got a it stirred up a whole bunch of shit, right? So
Got to. You got to stir
and
the pot a little bit.
yeah, so it stirred up a whole bunch of shit, and but I think it's making us stronger, right? So it's like some of these conversations that people were having with me, they weren't having with the actual individual in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, okay, now I put it out. Once I put it out on the platform, and then they kind of heard it a little bit on live. It started just this whole like conversation. Like, hold on, so you really don't like, even down to my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my little cousins, like, man, I don't feel like she liked me. You know what I'm saying? And my grandma, like, what? Like, and she was pissed off about it. But it's like you got to start these conversations, because these older people, like my grandma, I love my grandma to death. You know what I mean? But she got some fucked up ways. You know what I mean? So just pushing them limits and touching on that is like, oh, okay. She heard it, and then she like, okay, I'll sit down and have a conversation with them about it. And I'm like, damn, that was different. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting her to say that. I thought she was just gonna be mad and just be mean as hell. But the older people want to have conversations too. Like they want to sit down and have conversations. Just the young people just moving so fast, they don't have time to just sit down with them. And then, like, to my grandma's point, she made a point. She's like, well, they don't come over here to see me. You know what I mean? And if they do, it ain't like they sit and have a conversation. So I had to take that back to my little cousin. I'm like, y'all need to go over there and start sitting and talking to this lady. Like, y'all saying she treating you certain type of way, just go and have a conversation with her. Like, I call my grandma all the time. We have hour-long conversations, but it's like they don't have that luxury with her. So, just striking up those conversations, and you got to challenge these old mindsets. And then, like, having them come to the table. Like, now we're doing monthly family sessions. Whoever can make it, like, we come to the table and we sit down. And it's not even all about just problems. Sometimes we just want to talk about, like, hey, what we doing for this holiday that's coming up? Right. Let's get something together for the holidays and stuff. So we just set it up like monthly sessions, family sessions, and everybody just bring whatever you got to the table. Let's sit down. We can agree to disagree. However, let's get an understanding and let's move forward. And I think that's just what we have to do as a collective, just with Black people in general.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of family secrets and shit like people just don't want to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like, my cousin was telling me,
you don't find stuff out till somebody die. So
and that's a problem. Like, my cousin's telling me, like, man, don't unturn a lot of these stones. And I'm like, why the fuck not? Like, these people walking around, you got people walking around thinking they mamas, you know what I mean, cousins and all kind of stuff. Like, man, we got to cut all that shit out, all these old family secrets, man. Forget that. Like, let's put it on the table. It is what it is. People, it helps people grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just helps with growth. Like, I found some stuff out that I didn't know about my family. You know what I mean? I've been knowing these motherfuckers my whole life. And then with a certain situation, so it's just kind of like, damn, okay. Let's try to get people to the table. Let's try to get them to talk about this type of stuff. So, and trying to get them to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Still there?
Yeah, you good? Oh man, my laptop probably gonna die.
Okay, you back.
Well, you good?
It's going in and out. There you go. You back.
Okay, cool. But yeah, my laptop gonna get ready to die in a little bit. But just
okay.
Do just a little overview of everything again, like as far as like recognizing depression, some of the symptoms, and just some ideas of self-care for Black men that can be done.
Okay. So once again, man, you just gotta recognize what's going on. When you see yourself not being yourself, sit down and check yourself, or get some close friends, close homies that, like, hey, bud, you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? You need to figure out what's going on. And then for self-care, man, just stepping out your comfort zone. Whatever it is, like, just stepping out your comfort zone, find you something that you think you may enjoy, and just doing it and just trying different stuff. Like that, I can't stress that enough. Trying everything that's different, just stepping in there, jumping off the cliff and just going to do it. Stepping outside your comfort zone. That's the biggest thing that you can possibly do to help with just dealing with different issues. And get outside of your city. Get outside of where you from. Get outside of that shit. Like, I'm from Atlanta, but Atlanta don't define me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, like, but that don't define me. Step outside of that. I know people I'm from Chicago. You don't have to be most of these guys are, from Chicago. Man, you're not a killer. You're not ready to wake up with that type of, what I mean, psychological problem every day. You ain't ready to do that. So man, yeah, you from Chicago, but Chicago don't define you. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing I can stress for most people. Step out your comfort zone. Be what is it? Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, I like that. I'm about to use
Be
it.
comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Well,
Sure.
I thank you for sitting down and talking to me about depression and black men, just giving us the
For sure.
rundown on everything. Now y'all know it's the time to me to shout out some black businesses real quick.
Mm.
www.17th and Piedmont.online. That is one of my good friends in Atlanta. Has a wardrobe styling thing going on. So that's something to check out in Atlanta if you're in Atlanta. The Balloon Goons in Huntsville. My girl Chelsea, she does an amazing job when it comes to events, baby showers, birthday parties, anything. If you need anything balloon, she got you. The Balloon Goon in Huntsville, and you also got the Balloon Goons in Memphis. My girl Karen, y'all check them out on Instagram and Facebook. I'll definitely leave all the links down below. Just thank you all for joining us today. And don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share. And if y'all want to hit up CJ, I'll leave his details below, his podcast details, his personal Instagram, and all of those things.
Sure.
So thank you again for sitting down with me after this long week that I had. But we made it, and we did it. So
For sure.
we're going to get this out, and I really, really appreciate you for always being a supporter to She Talk Podcast.
For sure, definitely. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on or allowing me to come on again.
Absolutely.
This is the second time. So yeah, so I appreciate you. I gotta get you on an episode. Once I get back up and running, I'm under construction right now, kind of like
all you gotta do is call me, text me, and I'm right there.
I got you.
Day and time.
I got you. For sure. So I appreciate you.
All right now. All right. Talk to you later.
All right, baby.
Be easy.
Yeah.